Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So I'm doing my December wrap up today. I completed 5 books this month and I have 5 current reads, so I have a lot of current reads. So let's get right into the video. The first book I completed in the month of December is Fireblood by Ellie Blake, and it is the second book to the trilogy of fire and like Frostbloods. Basically what the series is about is there are Firebloods and there are Frostbloods. Frostbloods is pretty self-explanatory, like the cold and winter, and Firebloods are warm and they like warmth in summer. And the Firebloods and Frostbloods don't like each other very much. Ruby is the main character, and she is a Fireblood living among Frostbloods, and that doesn't go very well for her because they don't like her very much. And the story just goes on from the first book. It begins that she is trying to practice her magic with fire, but her mom wants her to hide it because then the Frostbloods won't hate them if they don't realize that they're Firebloods, and the story just kind of takes off from there. I can't really say a lot without spoiling anything. I can't say anything about this book, and I read Frostblood so long ago that I don't remember a lot of details from that, but basically all you need to know is that fire and Frostbloods are enemies, and yeah, it's really cool. I really liked the story. I liked this one a little bit more than I liked Frostblood. I knew the characters more and I was more invested in them from page 1. I rated this 4 stars, and what stopped me from rating it 5 stars is I just felt a small disconnect from the characters, but not like a lot. And honestly, after I read this book, like, I'm still kind of thinking about it. Like, it wasn't like really forgettable for me, which I kind of thought it would be, but I still think about it sometimes, and it's been like a month since I read this, so that's actually pretty good. I'm still thinking about it, but I don't know, I just couldn't bring myself to rate it 5 stars. There was something like with the characters, like not the storyline and the world was awesome, but I feel like there was a small disconnect with the characters. Like, I would have had to care just a tiny bit more about the characters to give it 5 stars, but it was super close to a 5 star and I really loved it. Next book I read this month is Black Like Me by John Griffin Howard, I believe is the guy's name who wrote it. Oh, it's John Howard Griffin. So I had to read this book for my English class, my AP English class, and the meaning of this book is so great. It's about this guy back a long time ago who was white and decided to go through this medical procedure to make himself black so then he could experience life through a black person and write a book about like all the things they go through and everything. And the meaning of this book is so great and it's so amazing, and he did so much, and I'm sure his book meant so much back then. It means a lot now, and like that somebody would put themselves in somebody else's shoes like to that extreme is amazing, and for that it should be 5 out of 5 stars. But I do have to go off of how much I enjoyed it, and I didn't like, lots of it was really boring, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. But just disclaimer, the meaning of this book is just like, if I was going off of the significance it had on this world and how great it is that he did that, it would be 5 out of 5. But I rate my books off of my entertainment and my enjoyment off of the book, and like there's a lot of parts that I was getting bored with and kind of confused with. I think there is like a small disconnect because it was so long ago and I can't really relate to lots of the stuff going on, but it was still, the meaning of this book was just significant, and I would highly suggest reading it. It's really short, so you'll get through it pretty quick. It's only like 200 pages, so I would highly suggest reading it, but I just got bored in parts of it. But I'm still really glad I read it because it had a lot of like meaning to it, and yeah, that guy that did that's just so amazing that he did that for people he didn't even know. Like, he did that for blacks, and I just find that so amazing and so inspiring. So the next book I read was called Summer Heat, I believe, and I'll have to look at the author's name real quick. The book is called Summer Heat by Rachel Van Dieckien. I butchered that last name, but this book, weirdly enough, was not on Goodreads, and yesterday, or a couple days ago, I did a video, and it was my best books of like 2018, and in that video I said I read 28 books this year, like in 2018, and I realized today I actually read 29 because I was going off of what Goodreads said, and I also read this book, and that was not on Goodreads, so I actually read 29 books in the year 2018. But anyways, so I didn't give this book a rating, but if I would have, it would have been 2 stars because it was not very good. I did find it entertaining from the beginning. It seemed like this really cute, sweet romance that was just going to be like an enjoyment, like not like 5-star book, but like 3 to 4, like because it was just enjoyable, no significance. Like I just thought it was going to be cute and all this. But yeah, it was, the ending was terrible, and it just had terrible messages, and it just ended so abruptly, and like the end was just terrible, like it was disgusting the way that book ended. Like it made me want to puke. Like, ugh, it was just gross, and just made me feel like I needed to wash my hands after I read that book and like held it. Like, ugh, gosh, I don't even know how to explain it. Just ugh. So anyways, I would probably give it 2 stars if I was going to rate it. I didn't really think that much about the rating since I didn't have to rate it, but honestly, it might have been 1 star. I think I would go with 2 because at the beginning of the book, I did really like the character. I think her name was Ray, and how they showed that even though she had money, she still had problems. I like when books can do that, and they don't just act like rich people are so happy and just, oh, their lives are great, and they showed that she still had struggles. So I did enjoy that. So if it wasn't for that, it would have been 1 star, but because I did like that, it's 2. But yeah, I would not suggest it. It wasn't very good. I hated the ending so much, and it was so stupid, and I felt like I wasted my time reading it. You guys hear anything? Michael brought his TV over here so he can play his games, and he just got here.
Who's Michael?
And he's moving stuff around, so if you hear that, that's what that is. Anyways, the 4th book I read this month was The Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colligan, and I really liked this book from the beginning. I really liked the main character. I forgot her name though.
Dang.
Nina. Huh?
You're beautiful. Yeah, I'm like, my next to look like garbage, but...
No, you don't. Come here.
No, compared to you, I look like a...
No, you don't.
rat
Sit
on
down.
steroids.
Sit down. You want to hear about how this book had a downfall? So it started out really good, and she was supposed to start this like book shop thing that was in her van, out of a van, and I'm not very excited about this book anymore because I was really excited when I first started reading it. But then, like, none of it was actually about her and the bookshop. Like, literally, everything went so smooth. And if you're going to start a business, it's not going to be smooth. And they just act like everything went perfectly. And she went, her first day of selling books, she just sold all these books. And all these people just wanted books so much. And, you know, they didn't talk about it.
See you later.
Alright.
Bye.
Have fun.
What is this? Oh, not bad, y'all.
So she just didn't even have any struggles, and I would have liked to see more of her struggles and how she overcame them. But it's basically just about what guys she should date. And I mean, obviously it's nice when there's some romance in a book. Like, I like seeing people end up happy and in love. And she did end up with the guy I wanted her to end up with.
Yes.
But it kind of got ruined, their whole relationship, because in the last 30 pages it was literally just about them having sex. Nothing about them being happy. Just like she literally made a comment, and I was like, we didn't talk. We didn't never need to talk. Like, yeah, if you're gonna be in love and in a relationship, you need to talk. It can't just all be about that. And I don't care if they do that. They're grown adults. They can do what they want. But it was just kind of disappointing. I waited this whole book to see them together, and then because I really liked them and I was really rooting for them, but they were just
garbage.
All they did was have sex.
Dang, that's the best part.
But like, they needed to like show more. I wanted to see them like actually like happy and like in this good healthy relationship.
Does it describe how, like, what does it mean by sex?
Like they just talked about how they had sex in his barn and behind trees.
Oh, so it'll describe what they do?
No.
Oh, okay. That's the reason why I was gonna read that book.
You just read the last 30 pages.
Okay.
But anyways, it's just bad. Like, and then she moved in with him, which is not really spoiling because you don't know what guy it is. But she was basically gonna move in with him, and I'm like, you guys haven't even had one conversation. Like, why are you moving in together? Like, since you started having sex, you haven't even had one conversation. So I'm kind of confused why this book was just stop. this book just went on a huge downfall for me. It started out good, and then it went downhill.
You have my phone lit. I need to go get your internet connection.
Okay. I don't know where your phone went. Stop.
I'm interrupting your movie.
Yeah, I know, you are. My movie. I ended up rating this book 3 out of 5 stars, which is really disappointing because it's a book about books, which is great. And like I said, from the beginning, I was really thinking I was going to rate this 5 stars because it started out really good. But then, pretty much after she had the bookshop, like, it just became about her and her relationship life. And the bookshop just went smoothly and she had no issues and it just went perfect. And it was just about her and all of her men. So, I mean, if you want to read that, if you really like romance, I would suggest this. And not that I don't like romance in books, but I was going into this more to learn about her journey on the book shop and how that grew. And I wanted to see her struggles and successes through that. And that just kind of got skimmed over and it just turned into the romance. So the final book I completed this month was After Image by Naomi Hudgens. And I showed this book in my last haul, and I was confused on what this book was about, so I'm sorry if I gave you like false information, but I thought she was a conspiracy theorist, and it was actually people around her that had conspiracy theories, and that was a little disappointing, because I thought this was going to be her having conspiracy theories too. And it really had nothing to do with that at all, but I really liked this book still, and I found it really entertaining, and it was pretty fast-paced and action-packed, so I did really like it, and it had to do with time travel and stuff like that, and so that was really cool, and I decided to rate it 4 out of 5 stars. The reason I didn't give it the 5th star is, like I said about Fire Blood, just a tiny disconnect with the characters. For me to give a book 5 stars, I really had to connect to the characters, and plus I just feel like I was disappointed because I thought this book was going to be about something else, but I mean, that's my fault, but I just couldn't bring myself to give it 5 stars, but it's still really good, and I would highly suggest it, and it's not a very popular book, which surprised me because it was pretty good, so yeah, 4 out of 5 stars, and I would suggest checking it out. So that was all the books I actually completed, but stay there because I have 5 current reads. I don't know how I ended up with this many current reads, but there's still a lot of books to talk about, so let's get into it. One book I'm currently reading is Every Soul of Star by Wendy Mass. I'm 63% through it. I read this for a readathon and I recently did, and I'm actually impressed by this so far. It's middle grade, but it's actually really good. Watch out for my January wrap-up. I will talk more about what it's about in that. The next book I am currently reading is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. That's my very first Sarah J. Maas book. I got it for Christmas, and I am 24% through it. I read it that amount in one day, and I just haven't had time to pick it up again since because I've been reading so many other books. So yeah, I really want to continue on this. I just haven't had time, and yeah, it seems pretty good, and I'm really excited to finally read a Sarah J. Maas book. Next book I am currently reading is I Love My Love by Brenna Biddy, and I just got this book. I'm going to do a haul because I went to Barnes & Noble and got some books. Another haul. Yeah, I had some Christmas money, so I got some books. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this because I'm going to talk about it in my January wrap-up and in the haul. But I did start reading it. I am 35% through it. It is my first poetry book to ever read, and I like it so far, but like I said, I'll talk about that more in January wrap-up of what I thought about it. But all I'm going to say is I'm definitely considering trying more poetry after this because I'm enjoying this a lot. So the next book that I am reading right now is Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer. I started this quite a while ago. It was like, I think I started it like the day before Christmas Eve, and then I never picked it up again. I'm only 5% through it. I barely remember what's going on. I do a little bit, but I do really want to continue on in this. But I started so many other books because I got some books for Christmas I want to start reading, and then I went to Barnes & Noble and got some new books with the Christmas money, so I haven't had time to read this at all, but hopefully I will soon get done with the other books and we'll get ready to jump back into this again. So my last current read is Paper Towns by John green. I'm reading it on my phone. I'm only 3% through it. I barely touched it. I just downloaded it on my phone, and as you can see, I have lots of current reads, so I'm not even really reading that right now, but hopefully eventually I'll start reading it again. So yeah, that is my last current read. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I can't believe how many current reads I have. I literally finished just as many books as I have current reads now. I had 5 and 5. So anyways, January wrap up might be huge. Even if I finish all these, that's 5 books right there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go bother Michael now. He's playing video games and I'm gonna bother him and he's gonna kill me. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!